Got it. Got it. Welcome, 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 welcome back, all. Yay! Hope you guys have had a fantastic summer. Be Strong Families webinar, Staying Strong and Positive for Ourselves and Our Children, is back in the building. Yes! Did you miss us? So,
Yes.
as you're coming in right now, just do me a favor and begin to drop where you're coming from, your name, and where you're coming from as you come into the room. Hey, Tammy. Hey, Chase. Amy. Hey, Trisha. Uh-oh. Oh, we got a hand up already. Hey, Tammy. Tammy, do you mean to have your hand up, or are you just, was that an accident? Okay, and she put her hands down. Okay, fantastic. So, guys, as you all are coming do me a favor. Andrew's gonna drop the link in the chat. Do me a favor and just share that chat with your networks right now. So they're going to be in store for a fantastic journey. We're about to get our whole lives blessed by today's webinar. Okay, Tammy, your hand is back raised. Let's see. Should we allow Tammy to talk right now? Okay. Tammy, you got a question for us?
Hi, can you hear me?
I can. What's up, Tammy?
The chat is disabled.
What's disabled?
The
The chat?
chat. Yes, it,
Okay.
that's what
Thank
it's
you.
telling me. There we go.
Boo. Good looking out.
Thank you.
Thank you, Tammy. And that's why you need a village, people. That's why you need a village. Thank you, Tammy. Good looking out. All right, so remember if he's dropping that there, so use that link and share with your networks and tell them they don't want to miss this. And if they do, this will be streaming live. It is streaming live right now on YouTube, and they'll be able to access it afterwards if they missed today's conversation. So welcome, welcome, welcome. Oh, we have a call-in listener. I love it. Yes, super excited about today. So let's get started. Welcome to our Bichon Families webinar, Staying Strong and Positive for Ourselves and Our Children. As you know, we started these a couple of years ago when the pandemic hit, and we've had such a great response from you all that we've continued them. We took the summer off. We took July off. We needed, I don't know about you guys, but we needed that little reprieve. So today is our first day back in the month of August, and we are coming. We have a whole slew of more fantastic guests and presenters that are going to be with us over the next for the next year, for the next fiscal year. So I'm looking forward to a fantastic webinar here. Hope you are too. Next slide, Andrew. Ways to engage. If you have been with us any amount of time, then you know that this is how we ask you to interact with us while we're on the webinars. When you're ready to speak, raise your hand. We'll ask you to unmute yourself. Then feel free to type your comments in the group chat. If you like, just make sure it's going to everyone. See the little carrot there? If you don't push everyone, then it'll go to, you can use it to talk to private people or just the host and panelists, right? Overall, just be patient with us. We have a lot going on in these webinars and we get a lot of people. It's difficult to get to everyone. So just please be patient with us. Thanks, Andrew. Our agreements. These are fantastic agreements, and at Be Strong Families, we have agreements for all of our interactions with people. And the reason is because we're encouraging you to be brave in this space. We're encouraging you to keep the space as emotionally safe as possible. So today, speak from your own experience and use I statements when you have the opportunity to share. Don't talk about what, those other people do, the neighbors, those people you can't stand. Don't talk about what they do. Talk about what you do because your story has value. Then I'm going to ask you to follow the golden rule, treat other people the way you want to be treated. Well, this is a Be Strong Families webinar. It is not social media, so no judgment. Let's keep all of that away from here because you can find that on Facebook, YouTube. You know what I mean, right? Full presence. Please no multitasking. If you have decided to spend your lunch with us, then by all means, spend your lunch with us. Okay? Just be in the moment because you don't want to miss a thing. You don't want to miss a thing. And if you need a minute, take a minute. We understand that a lot is happening, and it is your lunch. You might be fixing your breakfast, your lunch, and you may be, or you may hear something that activates you and you step away from the camera and come back. Do what you need to do to take care of yourself. Now, if you agree with these agreements, go ahead and type I agree in the chat, please. So we'll know that we can make this a safe space. Hi, Beverly. Hi, Jeanette. Hi, Raquel. Welcome, welcome. Thank you. Hey, Jeanette. Welcome. Go ahead and drop that I agree in the chat so we can keep moving because we want to make sure that our guest speaker today has all the time that she needs to take us on her journey. Ooh, 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 ooh. All right, is it looking good? Looks like those are coming through, Andrew, so I think we can continue. So today, guys, today I'm so honored. You know that once a month we try to spotlight one parent's journey, and these are the moments where we reached out to parents from across the country who have a story to tell. We love spotlighting the resiliency of parents, and we do it in this way through our one parent's journey. So today, one parent's journey, the journey back to me, is with Amani Rodriguez. So I'm going to tell you a little bit about Amani, and then I'm going to turn it over to her. Amani Rodriguez is a parent educator consultant and parent engagement specialist under the umbrella of A. Rodriguez Consults, LLC. She is a certified workshop facilitator and conducts seminars on educating teenagers on love, sex, and healthy relationships, as well as workshops on helping parents start and sustain difficult conversations with their teens and young adults. Amani is a parent leader with Bichon Families National Parent Cafe Leadership Team. Woo woo! It has been hosting cafes since 2019. Currently, Amani is pursuing her Bachelor of Social Work degree at Walden University. She and her husband have three children together, ages 11 to 22. Welcome, 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 Amani. For that reason, I'm so pleased and blessed and honored to be able to host this for you today. Amani, I'm going to turn it over to you.
Okay, well, I'm glad to be here. I'm happy to share my journey, my story. So I'll go ahead and get into it. My parenting journey started at 26, 25. I got pregnant at 25, and it was not my plan to be pregnant at 25. It was my plan to wait until I was 30 before I started a family because I wanted to really enjoy my 20s. I was having fun, going out, partying with friends, it's just whatever I wanted to do, travel, all of those things. And then all of a sudden I'm pregnant. And I'm like, oh my goodness, what do I do with this? So when I found out I was pregnant, I decided to, of course, change my lifestyle once the baby got here. So up until that point, I still traveled. I still hung out. I didn't drink, but I would go to the clubs and dance because dancing was good exercise. So once my daughter was born, she was the light of my life. And I noticed immediately that I was changing some behaviors that I had when I was single and without children. So I was more conscious of what I wore. I was more conscious of the things that I said and around her. And with her being so young, babies absorb and pick up more than what we realize. They learn how to talk from hearing us talk. So I tried to change a whole lot about me to make this mom thing work, right? So I continue with that behavior. Got married 2 years later. My husband and I got married 2 years later, and I started falling into the traditional wife roles. Of course, I was working, but I would come home from work and I would clean the house, and I would cook dinner and take care of whatever needs the baby needed and take care of whatever needs he needed. I noticed that I started doing everything for them, everything, and less for me. Um, I stopped communicating with my friends because I was really involved in raising my family. Uh, 3 years later, I got pregnant again, had my son. It was a wonderful baby, but I noticed that after I had him, I had postpartum depression, and I did not seek treatment for it. I just kind of tried to tough it out, you know, and I still increased my duties, still doing everything for him. I think my son was maybe 5 years old before he started dressing himself because I was that mom that was like, okay, come on, mama, do it. Let's put on your pants. Let's, put on your shirt. And the oldest one was in kindergarten, and I was like, okay, come on, let's do homework. And my husband was able to live his life. He was able to work and hang out with his friends. And, I would come home from work and I would do homework and I would clean and I would cook and I was still doing everything and noticing that I was becoming less happy, but I could not understand why I was not happy. A few years, I think my son may have been 6 years old. I developed chronic migraines that lasted for like 3 years. And the treatment for that was medication, was pills. The migraine medication didn't work. So I did take something a little bit stronger. And I started to notice that on the days that I did not have a migraine, I was still taking the pills. And I was taking them to escape the redundancy and monotony of working, coming home, doing homework, washing clothes, cooking meals. And when I tell you my family is spoiled, they're spoiled and they're picky eaters. So there would be days where I would cook 2 or 3 different meals in the evening because my husband would want one thing and then one child would want something else. And the other one would be like, well, I don't want to eat that, Mom. Can I have this? And I was obliging everybody's needs and not speaking up for myself. I wasn't saying I'm tired. I need a break. I need to get away, and I couldn't figure out what it was. Still increasingly sad, increasingly depressed until I got to a really, really dark space. And I knew I was tired. I had gone out for a ride to try to clear my head. That didn't work. I tried to call my pastor on the phone because I'm like, okay, if I talk to my pastor, I might feel better. I couldn't get him on the phone. It was like everything that I knew would make me feel better, the door was shut off to me. So I came home and I walked past my husband, who was in the living room watching TV. I walked past the children's rooms. I went in my bedroom and my sister-in-law was visiting and she was in there watching TV. And I grabbed one of my bottles of medication and I turned it up. And I started swallowing the whole bottle of pills because I was tired. I wanted to sleep. I wanted some rest. She saw me and, of course, screamed for her brother to come. And I remember him having me in a chokehold of sorts and like digging the pills out of my throat. And of course, I had to go to the hospital to get checked out. And I told them, I said, well, I wasn't trying to, kill myself, which I wasn't. I just wanted to sleep. I was tired, but I still wasn't acknowledging the fact that I needed help around the house. I needed help with the children because I grew up in a home and grew up in a single parent home. And my grandmother work 12-hour shifts at a factory, and she would come home and she would cook these meals, these big meals for us. So I'm like, okay, I can do this. My grandma did it. If people would come over, no matter how tired she was always doing something. She would craft, or she would have meals for somebody. Something was always happening. So I was like, okay, grandma did it. I can do it. My mom worked, she had a wonderful career at the time, or she still does. And, she still took care of us. And I'm like, mom did it. I can do it. Right. So I'm like, I should not be feeling like that I can't do this. I should not be feeling like that I'm failing at being a wife, and I'm failing at being a mother, and I'm failing at being a woman, because I was just going along. There was nothing in that 10-year span that represented who I was, because I was always outgoing, always free spirited, very spontaneous, always ready to, just, okay, I'm gone for the weekend, no plans. I'm just getting in the car and I'm going and I'm riding or doing whatever it is that I wanted to do, and spending time with my friends. And all of that had slowly stopped over the years. And I had morphed into someone's wife full time, and of course someone's mom full time. And there was no glimpse of Amani. So if someone asked me to do something, it was always yes. I very rarely said, I don't think I ever said no during that time. So like I said, I was very, very tired. Fast forward, after that incident, I got pregnant again, surprisingly, with the last little bundle of joy, who happened to be a triplet. But I lost the first two very early on. And my husband was like, "Are you upset?" I said, "No, I don't think I'm upset. I've been through this before. So I think I'm okay. I don't think we need three babies, small babies at one time, because that would really, really, really be a lot." I had the last baby and my husband lost his job. So then it became, I had to take over the finances in the house until he found employment. A month went by, 6 months went by, 2 years went by, and he still was not able to find permanent employment. So it was, I'm working, I'm taking care of all of the bills, I'm coming home, and I'm doing homework with the children, and I'm cooking 2 or 3 meals, and I'm doing laundry, and I'm looking at him like, but I'm still not saying I need some help. Can I get some help? He's just telling him, wait till mom gets home, she'll help you, blah, blah, blah. And I'm like, oh my gosh, this is too much. So one morning, I woke up and I told him, I said, I don't feel so good. I don't think I'm going to work today. And I called into work. And I let him know I'm not feeling good. I'm not coming today. I stayed in the bed all day, which was something that was pretty unusual. The next day came around. I woke up. I still don't feel good. I didn't get out of the bed. I didn't call into work. I didn't get the children ready for school. He did that. The third day, I didn't get out of bed. I'm crying because I don't feel good. Did I mention I didn't call into work? Day 4, the phone rings. It was my supervisor. Amani, are you okay? You hadn't called into work. This is not normal. I said, I think I need help. And I looked at my husband. I said, nothing is working for me. I'm really tired. I don't feel good. I need help. And he said, what do you need help with? I said, I think I need to be checked into the hospital. I said, can you take me to the hospital so I can get a psych evaluation? I said, because I'm really not, I said, it broke. I said, something broke. And I knew it. And I was crying all the time. He told me, no, Sarita. And I'm like, what? I said, please take me. No. He said, no. He said, all they're going to do is drug you up, and they're not going to help solve the problem. He said, you've already overcome one issue with being medicated. I'm not going to subject you to that again. And I felt trapped, like I'm in a glass box. Like, I know you see me hurting and you're telling me no, and I'm banging on the glass. Let me out. Please let me out. And he was telling me no. So instead, he called one of his brothers. My husband has a large family and they're tight knit, and they all think they run each other's wives' lives if something happens. So I'm used to that. So he called his brother and he was telling him, he said, this is going on. This is not like Amani. I don't know what to do. So he said, just take her to the doctor, right? So we made a doctor's appointment. And at the same day, because I go to like a one-stop shop for everything. So they have doctors in the building and they have therapists in the building. So I made a doctor's appointment and I also made a therapy appointment for the same day. They did my triage and the doctor came in the room and she looked distraught. And I'm like, what's wrong? I said, is everything okay? She said, I'm amazed that you're walking. I said, what do you mean? She said, you should be dead. I said, what do you mean? She said, your blood pressure's in stroke range. I don't know how you came in here. And I'm like, are you serious? She said, are you stressed? I said, yes. This is, everything that's going on. And she said, well, I'm going to give you this assessment. Fill it out before you go over, to see the therapist. So, they ask you, how many days you haven't been feeling good and those type of things. And are you, thinking about harming yourself? And for the first time, I put on paper that, yes, I feel like I'm going to harm myself. So I went to the therapist. We had a good first session. We talked and I went back again and we talked more. But I left the first session with 3 antidepressants to take. I didn't want to take them, because I wanted to try to power through it, but I needed to take them. And they helped for a little bit. They still had me zombie, like, I was feeling a little bit better, but I still had suicidal thoughts. So in comes my 13-year-old at the time, the oldest one at the time. She was wanting to help take care of mom. So she and my husband were responsible for dispensing my medication. Because I told him if I touch any of those bottles, I know I'm going to take all of them and I'm going to leave. I said, because I'm tired. And it was really rough because my oldest child had to help take care of it. And my son had to help take care. In the mental break, now mind you, before I was a very social person. In the mental break came anxiety developed. I don't know how, when, why, or where, but anxiety developed. And I started having panic attacks. My children couldn't come within 5 feet of me. And it was horrifying for me. And I can only imagine for them because I would dig in my skin until it bled. I can remember one time coming out of a state of panic and my shirt was on the floor and it was torn. And I'm asking the children, what happened to my shirt? And they're looking at me, they said, Mom, you did that. I said, no, I didn't. They said, yes, you did. And they watched all of this. So as a mom, that's like, oh my gosh, what do I do? How are my children seeing me completely undone? Because I've always put on a face of everything is fine, we're good, everything is going great. Even if I was drowning, it's great, everything is good. No, the water is not that high, I'm here, we're gonna make it. But they're watching me literally come apart. So I was in the bed one day and the oldest daughter, she came in the room and she's She's very vocal. She's always been very vocal. And she looked at me and she said, Mom, I've had enough. You need to come back. You have checked out completely on us. And I'm over this sugar honey iced tea. She said it just like that. And I said, wow, okay. That was my wake up call to work on not relying on the medication, because once I developed anxiety with the 3 antidepressants, then I had anxiety medication. So I stayed like zonked out all the time. So, I said, well, I will work on it. I said, I promise I will work on it. So I stopped going to therapy, but I remembered all the tools that I had in therapy. So I started journaling. I stopped the medicine cold turkey, which I probably should not have, but I did because I was determined to make this work, if not for me, but for them, because they didn't deserve a parent that was not there and not all together. I had, whenever I would go to the store, I would take her with me. She was old enough to navigate the vehicle if she needed to. She knew how to drive. And, we had a safe word. Our word was Peaches. So if we were in a store and I said Peaches, then she knew a panic attack was coming and that she would get my phone. They had my unlock code, so she would get my phone if she had to and call her dad first, let him know what was going on, and then call 911. So this is like, my child should not have to have this routine at 13. She should be enjoying 13. So I was determined to work on Amani. As I like to say, Amani Baptiste, because Baptiste was my father's name. And he was no joke, right? So I needed to work on being this vibrant person again and just really just rediscovering who I was outside of being wife and mom. Because like I said, I'd let my friends go. I hadn't been out without children at that point in 13 years. Everywhere I went, right, with the exception of going to work, everywhere I went, the children were with me. So there was no self-identity, right? So my mother-in-law, bless her heart, she called me one day and she was such a cryptic person, sweetest lady, but she was so cryptic. She said, Amani, if I send you a package, will you be able to get it? And I said, yes, ma'am. I knew what she meant. So she sent me some money. I picked it up. She said, now go do something for yourself. And I didn't know what that meant. I mean, what was that? In 13 years, I had not done anything for me. I languished over buying basic stuff for me because it was always the children need something or my husband needs something before I do, right? So I left home that morning with a shoulder length hair, Sarita. My hair was as long as yours. And I came home with the pixie cut. That was the first thing that I did for me. And I cried when my hair was cut because it felt like a weight was being lifted. And I'm like, oh, there's Amani. There she is. She's coming back. So my husband didn't like the haircut at first, but I told him, he would be all right. But that was the beginning of the road back to re-identifying with myself. And then I lost touch with one of my very best friends from college and reconnected with her through Facebook.
Mm-hmm.
And found out that we had gone through a similar situation.
Wow.
And I'm like, oh my gosh, she went through her thing. She had her family support. I went through my thing. I was hiding my thing. My mom didn't know what was going on because I still have a mask up. Like, oh, mom, everything is okay. When on the inside, I was like literally crumbling because I didn't want her to worry,
Mm-hmm.
So reconnect with my friend, and one Thanksgiving, she was like, Amani, you're coming with me and my family to Thanksgiving. Tell your husband he'll be okay. He can take care of the kids. So
my husband was like, what?
Right. He was like, I don't know. He said, okay, but he was going with his family, and he has a large family. So the children were very well taken care of.
Where'd the kids go? The kids go with him, or the
They
kids
went
went with you?
they went with him.
Oh, okay. Amen for Jesus. Now,
They
okay. I was like, that wasn't helpful if they went with you.
No, they went with him, and it was a 4-day weekend. This was my first time away from my very first time away from my children. And I think I cried for like 2 days because I felt so guilty about being away from them. And my best friend was like, Amani, you need this time for yourself. Those children will be fine. He can do it. She was everything that I needed in the moment, pressure that I needed in the moment. So just the road to help, rediscover. So now I take time for me twice a year.
Mm-hmm.
I hang out with my college roommates, once or twice a month. My best friend will come
Yes.
down and we'll go get haircuts and we'll go have lunch. And it was just a part of just really discovering Amani again. Like I will quit being a wife, and I will quit being a mom, and I will let them know I'm not on your clock today. And of course, my children, they're lovely and they're very sharp. So instead of calling me mom, they'll say, okay, Amani, what do you? I'm like, you do know I'm your mom, right? But they still pull on me a lot, but now they recognize when it is too much,
Mm-hmm.
and they will scale it back some. So
Yeah. So now you're having Amani time. It's almost like, um, girl, I'm in my head. I'm like, money time. Do money time. Okay. All right. I have issues. But so I'm thinking, so you finally so you really resonate with that on the plane when you have to, put on your mask before you put on everybody else's mask. So you sort of resonate with that.
that, yes, that. And I also resonate with Superman,
How so?
right?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so Superman has his alter ego, which is Clark Kent, the regular person,
Mm-hmm.
right? And then the one that's vulnerable. And then he has the super persona, right? I never took off my super persona. I was always the one that was bulletproof, and swooping in to take care of everything and rescuing the day
Yeah.
on everything. It was, if we hit a rough patch financially, it I would I was trying to figure out how to fix it instead of letting my husband figure out how to fix it. It was like, oh, I got this. I always have a plan B. Don't worry, So I never took that S off of my chest until the S started dropping, and then it was loosely held by duct tape.
Yeah.
Right.
Um, I'm listening. I'm listening to you, and it's making me think because you mentioned like your mom was, or your grandmother. Was your
Mhm.
mom also married or no? Was your mom single as well?
Um, so my parents separated when I was 3.
Okay.
Um, so she was single. She an amazing person,
Mm-hmm.
amazing person. My grandmother and my mother never let us see what struggle looked like.
Mm.
So we never knew if there was a financial need that needed to be met that couldn't be met. There
Right.
was
Yeah.
always food on the table, always food in the refrigerator, and always food in the deep freezer.
Yeah.
You know,
I'm just.
whatever we
Go
whatever
ahead.
we wanted, they made it happen. So I,
Mm-hmm.
I did not know what real life struggles look like.
Look like.
And I was raised very Southern, right? So it's always when you leave the house, you're put together
Mm-hmm.
and you don't cry in the street. I don't think I saw my grandmother cry ever.
Mm-hmm.
I never saw my mother cry.
Wow, Amani.
Right.
Wow.
So it's like if they're put together, so I have to be put together. And
Yeah.
I can't let anyone see, you know, what it is I'm feeling or how I'm struggling, because to me that was vulnerability and weakness. And I can't be that transparent, because if I'm that transparent, then I'm not put together.
Yeah, that's making me think of, it's making, I guess for me, it's making me see the correlation or the importance of how what we watch as we grow up with our parents impacts us, because you had that experience and then my experience was just the opposite. They tease me all the time at work. Tiffany teased me all the time about, oh, she thinks she's a prima donna. She didn't want to do no heavy lifting. Well, because I had my dad was in the home. And then when I left from home, and even though there were 8 of us, right, I was the third oldest, and so I was sort of like, "Oh, Daddy, I don't, do for me," and so he would. And then I got married, and then my husband did all the heavy lifting, and so I always knew to, if I can't do it, my husband can do it, or asking, I need help with this. I can't do all this, like, I need help. So, and just thinking about that, because Tiffany and him would tease me and say they would want me to, take these big packs of water and when we go to like trainings and stuff, I'm like, I'm not doing that. I'm not carrying this big case of water through the halls of somebody's professional building, and I'm not doing that. And they like, tease me, but just thinking about how your experiences, what you watch growing up, and how that impacts you impacts us as we get older and we move into our own families.
Mm-hmm.
Um, and so you never saw the struggle, but you never also saw them doing anything for themselves.
No,
No. Wow.
no. And I'm sure they did, but I never saw my grandma sacrificed, I'm sure, for us
Yeah.
and for other people in the neighborhood. My mom was in social work, so it was, she was always serving,
Hmm.
others. I don't remember, and I'm sure, like I said, I'm sure she did, but I don't remember her doing things for herself.
Yeah. Um, so I'm so glad that you learn how to take off your cape, because if you hadn't learned how to take off your cape, you may not be such a valuable asset that you are today, not only in your family's lives, but for us, even at Be Strong, because we love you. And how what is your thought, or what would you say to, what are some things that you would tell moms to recognize about other women or other moms, you know, to prevent or to recognize when they're taking on too much? Do you see what I'm saying?
I do. It's
Part of
okay to be
it.
selfish. Be selfish.
Mm-hmm.
Have a allow yourself a selfish moment. I still have a hard time allowing myself a selfish moment. Like just the other night, I had cooked dinner and I told my husband, I said, I really don't want what I cook. I want a salad. If I go out and get me something to eat, how am I going to go buy me something to eat and not get you also? He was like, Amani, just go get the salad. And then I got a salad and I'm still trying to share the salad, with
Mm-hmm.
them, So he was like, no, that's yours. But allow yourself to be vulnerable, allow yourself to be transparent, um, allow yourself to not be strong.
Mm-hmm.
And that was one thing out of this that I learned, because I was always the strong one. I was always trying to be strong, like, oh, you're so strong, blah, 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 blah. And I'm like, I had to learn that strong for me was not a good thing,
Mm-hmm.
because when I think about strong, I'm thinking about heavy lifting, right?
Yeah.
Something that I have to pick up and hold for a little while and then I put it down. So I was picking up stuff and I wasn't putting it down. And that's
Mm-hmm.
not being strong. I had to learn how to have strength to go from point A to point B,
Mm-hmm.
or as I say, from point A to point B to 2.5 to Z back to E, right? I had to learn how to have strength for that journey. I can't carry everything with me, but I
Mm-hmm.
can carry a little bit. I can learn from what I'm carrying and then move on to the next thing. Like, what am I learning to keep me going instead of me being stuck holding something in one spot?
Yeah.
So being strong wasn't serving me at all. And I feel like I'm teaching my children the same thing.
Mm-hmm.
I don't lift anything in the house at all, right? So after that whole
Mm-hmm.
mental
Mm-hmm.
health break, I
Yeah.
don't lift anything. My son, Mom, if he sees me trying to pick up a piece of paper off the floor, he's rushing, Mom, don't, I got it. I'm like, son, I can bend over and pick up a piece of paper. It's okay. But I don't lift anything. If I have to lift something, that means no one is around to pick it up. But I'm like,
You
I'm not.
you look, you see my faces, but my family talks about me. I believe in letting people do their strengths. So if my husband is all, big and big shoulders and a big, why am I trying to pick up stuff to prove that I am woman, hear me roar? I could
Mhm.
pick it up if I needed to, but why kill myself when there's obviously somebody who's all designed to do that? So I'm glad
Exactly,
that you're not doing that. Kudos to you.
exactly, exactly. And
Kudos to
it
you.
and and I like who I am now. I'm still improving. I'm still working on the transparency because I still have the mask up and I still have the S has been reapplied with better duct tape and some JB Weld and a touch of Gorilla Glue.
But Amani, how are you? How are you now? What is your mental wellness like now, and how do you safeguard it?
Okay, so I'm not on the antidepressants anymore.
Mm-hmm.
I take the anxiety medicine, PRN. So I try if I'm feeling like I'm anxious, I will try to work through it. If not, I call my friends and I say, look, this is how I'm feeling. And they'll help me try to identify what the trigger was.
Mm-hmm.
I get up earlier in the morning, most
Mm-hmm.
mornings than the rest of the family.
Yeah.
And I will, even though I'm getting up for work,
Mm-hmm.
I'm in complete silence.
Yeah.
And that is the best thing because once they get up, it starts with like, the chaos. And then if I'm not in a good space, I'm very vocal about I'm not there. I'm not 100%. Can you give me a moment,
Mm-hmm.
to get to whatever it is that I need? Um, I'm more focused on my mental because if I'm not in a good place mentally, then the house isn't in a good place. My children aren't in a good place. And I need for them to, to be in a good place because
How
they
has
are
their
very small.
they're very spoiled. How has their relationship with you changed since you started this journey
The relationship with me personally,
with your children?
with the oh, we're closer. We were already close, but it's like a closer relationship
Mm-hmm.
now. The oldest two will call me for everything, everything, even just to chit chat about nothing. Like my daughter will call me, girl, let me tell you what happened. I'm like, oh my goodness, okay. Well, so what happened? Because she can, I'm happy that she considers me one of her best friends, and she can pick up the phone and she can say, "Girl," or she can pick up the phone and say, "Mom, I need advice," or
Mm-hmm.
"Mom, I need help with." So whatever the role is that she needs from me at that moment, because she is a young adult, and for me, the parenting has stopped, so it's moved into a different phase for
Mm-hmm.
me. It's more advice. I can tell you what I would do, but I can't make you do it. You're an adult now. You make your own decisions. So I'm really thankful for that relationship. My son, who will be 19 this month, um, we have a very loving relationship. He comes and he talks to me and he'll check on me and he'll run errands with me if I ask him to without any problems. And if he doesn't feel like it, he has no problem saying, no, Mom, I don't feel like going today. And I'm good with that.
Yeah.
The youngest one, we're developing our relationship. She's 11, so she's still very much a daddy's girl,
Mm-hmm.
which I don't mind. I don't mind her being daddy's girl, because she can say, "Dad, I need you to do this," or Dad, and he just, pops
Yeah.
right on it. And even with the oldest one, they butt heads. But if she needs something, she will call her dad, and he will stop whatever it is he's doing to get to her or help her or whatever it is. So it's a wonderful relationship. I've grown with my children, and
Oh,
they are seeing that being an adult can be difficult sometimes, and that it's okay to ask for help,
mhm.
and that they
Yeah.
don't have to hide behind "I'm okay" or "I'm doing good" all the time. That it's okay for them to say, "I'm not having a good day. I'm
Yeah.
not having a good moment." You know,
Yeah. How is thinking about how you watched your mom and your grandma and them being so strong and never showing that vulnerability, and then you being having gone through what you've gone through, how is your relationship with your children different from your relationship with your mom?
I'm closer to my children than I am with my mom. My relationship with my mom has evolved into several different things over the years. She still works, I want to say, two jobs. It seems like she's always doing something, right?
Mm-hmm.
So once I graduated high school, she really shifted more focus on her career. So I allow her that space. And we do talk, but we don't talk every day,
Mm-hmm.
because I respect the fact that she's busy.
Yeah.
I respect the fact that, she has her staff that she has to deal with daily, but she has a wonderful staff. But whatever issues that she may be dealing with from work, or she
Yeah.
was the mayor of the town that she lives in. So whatever stress she had from that when she was the mayor, whatever it is, I give her that space. I don't bombard her.
Yeah.
But when I do need her, I'll pick up the phone. I'll say, "Hey, mom, how are you doing? How was your day?" And then ironically, a conversation will shift from mom, daughter to professional something, right? So she's
Yeah.
always giving me, tips and sending me articles. So her support has been wonderful. Her support has been really wonderful. Um, she loves and parents differently. She's just a wonderful person. I love her. I love her so much. I love her so much. Now my relationship with my grandma was a little different because she was hard on me. I felt like she was hard on me. But she revealed to me before she passed that the reason why she was hard on me is because she saw so much of herself in me, and
Yeah.
she wanted something different for me than what she had. And I wish I had known that earlier in life, because
Mhm.
then that would have been a whole different type of relationship. Like my grandma and I bonded over cooking, right? So all year long we would get along, we wouldn't get along, we might speak, we might not speak. Because I'm stubborn, I'm hard headed. I'm the child that if you say you need to turn left at this light to get to where you're going, I'm gonna turn right. Just so you can see that if I turn right, I can still get to where I'm going, right? So that was our relationship. But when it came to family gatherings or Thanksgiving or Christmas, it was okay, Grandma. What we're gonna cook? That was our time? That
Mhm.
was our bonding time. So it was beautiful.
So let's hear, thank you for sharing that. So let's read some of the comments. Beverly said, "This is awesome to listen to you and uplifting for me, just knowing that me time is so important." She said, "This is so important to have strength in. Thank you." Ramona said, "It takes strength to stop the Superman living." Tammy says, so much of your story resonates with me, Amani. Very much appreciate you sharing. Mental wellness takes a lot of continuous effort for me, but I usually believe I'm worth it." Um, Amani, wow. This has been amazing getting to know this side of you. And wow, it gives me so much insight. And it makes me value even more, the importance of having good support and
Mhm.
being mindful of your mental health and how to take care of it. And hey, Leanne. Leanne said you're amazing, Armani. Sending love all the way from Wales.
Oh, we're across the pond. Are we
Across
gonna
the
do a parent
pond.
cafe across the pond? I'm ready. I'm ready to
they
go.
they've already been, Tiffany trained them across the pond. And let's see, Beverly has her hand up. Beverly, you wanted to come on and say hi? You got a question for us?
Yes, hi. Hi, can you hear me?
Yes, we can.
Yes.
Yes, Amani, I so appreciate hearing your story because, like someone else said in the chat, it resonates with me. You never know, when my mom was a single mom and she never let us go without. So sometimes I feel like what you were saying, but I also feel like when we see our parents, especially when we have single moms, and we never see them struggle, and when we get married or date or have a family, we don't want them to. We resonate that trait
Yeah.
of doing what they did, and like you said, we over become so overwhelmed that we don't seek help. And I'm that kind of person. I don't seek help. I bottle up everything in me.
Mm,
I just bottle it up. I will not ask for help. I know that's bad to say, but I don't like asking for help. And I think it's because so many people sometimes I hear when you ask for help, you're weak. But in hearing this story, I'm gonna try to ask for help. You know, I don't ask for help. I rather do it myself. If I fail, I hate messing up, so I'll try things over and over.
it's a powder keg. Thank you,
Yes.
Beverly. Thank you so much for sharing that, Beverly. I just want to encourage you. Every Friday we are having cafe.
On
And I'm
this month
only
on
sharing,
Mondays.
and this month on Monday, yeah, and I'm only sharing that with you because in the any protective factor cafes, we talk about concrete support and the importance of asking for help. And I just invite you to come and join us for any of those cafes on Monday from 11 to from 12 to 1:30, and
Mhm.
Amani and the team is usually there. But it's a great place to have those conversations in a safe setting, um, that you can, practice, right? Asking for help. Amani, did you want to say anything? Share
Well,
anything?
I want to again attribute to my mom. She in 2015 took a chance on bringing me in as a consultant to learn some things to help, other families, other moms in the community, which in turn led me to Be Strong Families because I did the Parent Cafe training in January of 2019. And if it had not been for her stepping in the way that she knows how, which is professionally, and introducing me to you all, I would probably still be bottled up. I don't look like and that's just a little bit of my story. I really do not look like everything that I've been through. And sometimes I look in the mirror and I'm like, I have to remind myself, Amani, you're pretty amazing. Keep going. And when I don't feel good, I call my friends. But Be Strong Families and the parent cafes have been a wonderful addition to my life and to my family's life, to my children's life, because they're noticing a difference in me listening to them more and not like talking, like giving them their space to talk, um, and giving me space to be vulnerable and be who I am and to take off a little bit of my mask and share, as I like to say in the cafes. I like onions, so I get to peel off as many layers to the onion that I want, right, to get to the good center. So it's just, and I'm still a work in progress. So yeah.
We have, thank you. Thank you, Beverly. We have one more question, Leanne.
Hiya.
Hi, Leanne.
Yeah, like it's like you're amazing. Like, you know, and like you said about the parent cafes, you know, we've started obviously Be Strong Families Parent Cafes over in Wales. And it's absolutely amazing to do. It's amazing to attend. It's also amazing to host. And, you know, in the beginning I was so nervous, but by the end of it I was just like, yeah, I got this. Do you know what I mean? And the more I tell my story, the more confident I am with it, because it's my story. You know, I can't get it wrong. It's my story. Nobody, do you know what I mean? But to see people come along and connect with you, and the one of the recent ones we did, this poor girl, she was so like, oh my god, like overwhelmed coming in, and she was a different person leaving. It was so good to see. She was like, thank you so much for coming out to talk to me beforehand, and just reassuring her that, promise you, this is a non-judgment place. We've all been somewhere. We all have a story. It's not, you know, it's not about being judged. It's about just being there for each other and lifting each other's voices as parents. And by the end of it, she was a total different person. It was brilliant. She's like, see you next time. I was like, oh, okay, see you next time.
Thank you, Leanne. Thank you for
No
sharing
problem.
that.
Yes. And I
Thank
just
you
want to
for
say I have
sharing
the
that.
best friends in the whole wide world. I cannot talk enough about my friends. They are, and I have a small group of friends. My circle is very small. I have two friends that the three of us have been best friends since 1991. So that's 31 years, right?
Wow.
So they know the good, the bad, the ugly. They know Amani. And they are the best support system that I have. And then recently, in the last 5 years, we added three more people to the friend group, and they each serve a purpose
Mm-hmm.
in my life for whatever mood I'm in. They gather me in whatever way that I need. And I can't say enough about the people that I've been blessed with in my life. My friends, my husband, when he's not my fourth child, and my children, my mom, my siblings, just and my Be Strong family, because we are family, you know, and being able to see on Zoom, you know, if I'm not having a good day, you know, Tammy, Pam, Stephanie, Lori, any of them will say, Amani, are you okay? You know, so it's great.
Well, thank you, Amani. Thank you for everybody who joined us today. Thank you for sharing your story, Amani. We appreciate and value you so much. I'm so grateful that you're a part of Be Strong Families, but I'm more grateful that you learned to take your cape off and ask for help, and that you were willing to share your story with us today. So thank you, thank you, thank you. God bless your day in ministry. Andrew, can we go to the closing slides? Because it's almost 1 o'clock. Hey guys, you know how we do. Go ahead and drop in the chat what you're going to amplify. Amplify my journey. So if you want to amplify, this is Amani's hashtag amplify my journey. Put what you're gonna put in that, what you're gonna amplify, something positive. And know that if you have a parent story that you'd like to share with us, contact me and I would love to have you share your story on our webinar because parents rock. Next slide, please, Andrew. Don't forget that this Monday, I almost said Friday, this Monday, this coming Monday, Taste of Cafe. Taste of Cafes are usually held on Fridays, but for the month of August, because Bichon families also recognize the importance of taking care of your mental health, we are going to be off for the month of on Fridays for the entire month of August. Therefore, cafes will continue on Mondays. Okay, so throughout the month of August, Monday. So sign up today for your Taste of Cafe. The new word, flexibility, and we'll be using the parents of teens and emerging adults. We want to help you not kill your kids. Yay! You're welcome. And use the QR code. You can go there. Next slide, Andrew. Hey, if it's time for you to get some resources for your upcoming cafes, or gifts for Christmas. Start thinking now. Visit the Bichon family shop. All right, so you can start to load up on your things right now. Don't wait till last minute and we'll all be all sold out. So you should start now with your Christmas shopping. Okay, next. And then join our YouTube community. Yay! We are growing our YouTube community, guys. Thank you so much. Please go there. If you're not subscribed, please subscribe and check out some of your past webinars are already there. Andrew says we're only 4 away from 400 subscribers. You could help us meet this goal. Yay! Follow us on YouTube. Be Strong Families. Yay! Okay, next. Is that it? All right. Thank you, Amani. We appreciate you and love you. And thank you guys for joining us on your Wednesday lunch break. Enjoy the rest of your day, and we will see you next week. Same time, same place. Bye, guys.